It's 2:47. I'm Brad Staggs, and joining us once again on the line is Leigh Richardson. She is a licensed professional counselor, the founder of the Brain Performance Center in Dallas, also the author of Turn Your Brain On to Get Your Game On, the How, What, Why to Peak Performance. Leigh, it's good to talk to you again.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right. So there's I guess a poll U.S. News did a poll. 63% of respondents to, I guess it's a Heart Association poll, said that adults think that the holidays are more stressful than tax season. Wow. I guess the two of them kind of, they're the same. They both cost a lot of money. And it does take a long time to bounce back. So with holiday stress, I mean, what are some of the things that people can do? Because it's truly stressful. You got relatives you don't necessarily want to be around. What are the things we can do to keep us from just going absolutely bat crap crazy?
Well, I think we can holiday with intent. Instead of thinking that we have to do everything that somebody asks us to do and that we have to show up for every possible event, we can learn to say no.
That is a fabulous idea. And I'll be honest with you, I'm the worst at it. I've gotten better as I've gotten older, but when I was more youthful, I had a hard time saying no to a lot of things. But there's power in saying no, which sounds cliche, but it's true. I mean, you don't have to do it all.
No, you don't. And, I would rather do whatever I do well and enjoy it instead of doing everything and not even being present for half of it when I'm there. And I think we all set these expectations for ourselves and for our family, and that we don't even think about, am I taking care of myself? Mm-hmm. Am I, the healthy stuff that I normally do? I eat right, I exercise, I get my sleep. Well, in the holiday seasons, when I'm running around, I'm running here, I'm running there, I'm doing everything else, those are the things that just fall by the wayside.
That's a great point. And with, and it doesn't matter who's making the food in the kitchen, those are always things I would imagine could put less stress on yourself. It's like, I've got to get, all 8 dishes prepared because I've got family coming over. I don't know. How about, not being so extravagant? How about having people bring some stuff? I mean, simple things like that work too, right?
And that's a lot more fun. You get a lot more surprises.
Right. I had, years ago, I had a friend who used to enjoy inviting people to parties around Christmas, around the holidays, people who didn't know each other, and that were completely different walks of life. And that was always fascinating. And they had it catered. Of course, you have to have money to do that sort of thing, but that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad idea, right? Catering.
No, it's not at all. And we can do so much more than we think we can. We put restrictions on ourselves. But this time of the year, we're looking for that perfect gift. And then when we find it, we're asking ourselves, can I really afford this? Should I be spending this much money? So our brain goes into overdrive and it goes into overload. And seeing simple things that are easy, that would make our life easier, those just seem to disappear.
And that's another excellent point. What about just making gifts? Wouldn't that be a whole lot less stressful and would cost, like paper mache ashtrays, stuff like that? I mean, you probably don't want to use it as an ashtray, but you know what I'm saying? Just doing things that don't cost a lot of money and use those as gifts for somebody, because that would keep down the financial stress.
Well, what about acts of kindness? Just doing something that somebody really does need. Just, I know that you need to get your aunt to the airport on Christmas Eve, and I know you've got other relatives coming in. I could do that for you. Just that simple act of kindness, because anything that makes my life easier and takes a load off of my shoulders is greatly appreciated.
That's really smart. And I'm going to confess that when I was reading, there's a little blurb about you, and I knew this before because we've talked several times, but it said your initial focus was on organizational behavior. And I'll admit, because I had a blonde moment myself and went, Oh, being organized, that kind of behavior. But you meant organizations. I get it. But the funny thing is that actually, if you can keep things organized during if things can be in their place, because Sean and I, just prior to getting back here on the air, we were talking about how, we like to keep nuts and bolts and things like that organized and tools organized. If you can kind of keep some semblance of organization around your home during the holidays, doesn't that help keep the stress down too? So that things aren't crazy?
Absolutely. Nothing's more frustrating when you're already running late and you can't find your keys.
Uh-huh.
It's just those little things. Or you're running out the door and you realize, I forgot to do this. Oh my gosh, that means this isn't going to happen. So simple organization, just structure. Structure makes our life flow.
It really does, and I've tried that many times to try to be completely organized. Every time I try it, it does not end up exactly the way I want, but I'm not going to give up. But I just know when things are more organized, and I'm not running around like the proverbial chicken with my head cut off, trying to find things or figure out where I left them. Things are a lot less stressful, including around the holidays. So I'm not going to give up.
And I think the more organized that you are, the better expectations that you have for yourself, and the better you can meet those expectations.
I like that. I like that a lot. All right. So any other great tip for people who might be pulling what little hair they have left out of the top of their head because things are stressful? What's maybe deep breaths, something like that? What say you?
Well, I say, how about a self-check-in? How about stopping and saying, Leigh, are you doing okay? Leigh, what do you need today? Well, I don't need to blah, blah, blah. Well, then don't do it.
I like that. And you're right. We do put ourselves last sometimes. To be fair, there are people who put themselves first all the time, but we'll get to them later. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
They can find us. We have a great old-fashioned website, thebrainperformancecenter.com, Facebook, Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Leigh, it's been a pleasure. As always, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year if we don't talk before then.